Here's a little update on the Tram D-201. As you can see from the previous picture, it used to have a big hole back there. I bought a donor and put the housing on, the sides and everything, so that's gone. There's some of the caps I put in it. Let me find something to point with. The high watt resistors have all been kind of bent a little bit, and they're up off the board a little bit. As you can see, I bent the legs a little bit in and then soldered them so that they're not going to break out the printed circuit. That's been replaced. I gotta look through my phone here. That one. And these two, some of these big sand resistors back here, they were remote mounted to the side for some reason. This board here has all been updated. And I think there's one back up in here that I replaced. And let's see, I replaced a bunch of these on here. Everything that's got a nice top to it, I replaced. All these little capacitors in the BM board. And then down here on this board, that one, there's some back up in there. Down in there. I had to put this, I looked through it, oh, right there. I had to put that in it, that was all jacked up. I haven't got the tuning right between the manual side, and it's off a little bit. I made it so you can transmit in the VFO. You can see all of them down in there have been replaced. Most of them are up off the board, so you get some air to them. This board down here has got new ones in it. Where's my pen? There it is. That one. That one. And not too much there. Oh, I had a problem with the meter. This chip right here, I put a chip holder in it, and I put a new chip in it. So if that ever goes bad, you can just pop a new chip in it. That's that little, oh, what is that? A V700? No, U700, I think. Had to put that in there. Now we'll roll her around to the other side. This is where the cluster was. As you can see right there, I had to fix that trace. I put all new tube sockets in it. All the tube sockets were loose. Some of this stuff doesn't look very pretty, but it is what it is. And here's where that little chip holder goes. There's another tube socket. Replaced all the high watt resistors. There's a cap there, resistor there, all these sand block resistors. I left the high voltage mod up. That one's been replaced, and then the two sockets here, I replaced those. Now, one thing I did do, I didn't like the way that you had to unsolder the orange wire to the neutral link, so I put another little bus bar in there. And if I could get up in there and see, I soldered the wires to the bottom of the little clip there. And then I put the component on the top, so if you ever want to go in there and replace a component, you don't have to disturb the wire. But there's my neutral link. All I got to do is unsolder that side, and it's got like a little hook in it. You can unhook it and do your neutral adjustment, neutralization. But it's really hard to see. I had to redo a bunch of that stuff down there. There were so many wires wrapped around all those lugs. And you can see where, get my pin right, and then I'll show you. my orange wire, well, my orange wire comes into here, goes through my little neutral link, back out, and over to, oh, bear with me, right in here. It goes into that board, and then it comes out, and of course it goes down to this other coil down here on this thing down here. But yeah, I solder all the wires to the bottom, so that way if you have to go in here and replace a resistor, you're not having to deal with unhooking a wire and melting the wire. And you can see I got a trace right there I had to fix. Now I left the original caps in it, but I put, let's see, I got a new little board thingy right here, and that's one of the ones for 624, and I can't remember if that's a D. I mounted one up here on the side, just took a couple rivets, and that one's 624, and I don't know the prefix of it, but you can see that they just run up there, and all the wires hook up right there. Of course, that's the ground side. So the wires hook up there, so if you want to replace that cap, you just unsolder it. You don't have to mess with the wires. And the same way over here, there's the wire, goes to it right there. And then I'll put another one right here. Mounted these two, C5A, C5B. And I did not do, like I said, the wires hook up there. But now over here, all these wires all connect down to the bottom. And if you have to replace these resistors, you just unsolder them. You don't have to mess with the wires going to them. That was the biggest threat on this, was so many wires attached to all those lugs. And then here's a couple more of the off the triple can and the 4-can capacitor. And that's about it. All I gotta do is figure out a little AM power problem. It's a little weak on AM power. And right now I've got my tone generator hooked up to it. And this really bugs me. When I switch it to sideband, it pegs out my meter, and it makes a god-awful noise. Let me turn my switch off to my tone generator so you can see it's dead quiet. And that meter sticks a little bit. I've adjusted that so many times. Now I'll hear the noise out of it. It only does it on sideband. And I've got the signal generator set up to channel 20. And if I turn it to crystal, you can see where my meter's at. Got to do some adjusting there. But here's my, oh, I guess I got to hook the mic up, don't I? I'm going to show you the transmit manual mode. I've got it in manual, and I should be close to 20. 27,202 should be 205, and you can see where my meter's set at. So I've got to do some tweaking on that little pot that I put in right down there, and that thing, and figure out why it's so noisy on sideband. But it does transmit on sideband. It just got that god-awful noise. So, got a few bugs to work out on it. Oh, and I put the different outlet on it, like a computer cable. Those are all my disc capacitors, and that's where the cord plugs in. And it's looking pretty good. The only thing bad about it, Label says it's still a D-201, but I'm not going to mess with the labels, but at least it ain't got the big gaping hole in the back. I sure love my little Lazy Susan. It's actually an old bar stool. Okay. Well, I think that's about it. Oh, and my little catchy catch thing here to hold the safety door open. Safety latch shut. It's been a work in progress. A lot of stuff to do down in there. Modifying all those wires so it'll transmit on manual. I want to thank Matt B and Fixer. And then I've been talking to D Golden some. All you guys have been a big help. I've got that little sticky thing was off of there, and I've got to reattach that, but I'm not going to mess with it until I get this thing all done. That will be supported. I guess that's about it. D-201A. Just a few more bugs to figure out. Oh, that's the high and the low switches for the power. It does make a difference. A dead key a little over 4 watts. And I don't remember which one it is. Yeah, the white switch is medium. No, low, medium. There's about 8 watts, and with both of them flipped, it pegs the meter out. Okay, well, 12 minutes. That's about it.